slowly onto
populating around the internet.
all of the internets. We're on the Facebooks, we're on the Twitches, we're on the YouTubes, the Twitter.
You can't stop us.
You can't stop us no
We
matter
are
what you
everywhere.
want to do. Absolutely. So Amanda, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a busy day, and now we get to settle down.
It's been a really busy day, fam.
We get to settle down with the video game equivalent of like a family gaming slow jam. Because we're just gonna chill.
Yeah.
And we're and so first off, I want to welcome everybody to another episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. Linda is absent today. She told us about this last time. Her oldest son, her middle son has a concert tonight. So
understandable.
She was going to be absent. And I said, listen, this is one of the reasons why it's a good thing that all three of us are there. Because if one can't, we just figure it out, right?
We just move.
Exactly. And you and I we know how to do a podcast together because we've been doing it for probably 100 some odd episodes at this point. It's a long time.
I think we've been doing this for a good 3 years, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been doing this a long time. I think 3 years is probably correct.
I think that sounds about right, yeah.
Quite some time. So, today, it's video game day, but I have a tabletop role-playing game thing to bring up during Around the Horn. So, housekeeping. I would encourage everybody that is watching to, I'm not playing World of Warcraft right now. I'm just not. It's a podcast. I promise you I'm not playing World of Warcraft.
We're playing World of Warcraft in our minds.
I don't think we want me to do that. I'll get distracted.
No, okay, that's fair. It's fair.
But I was playing World of Warcraft yesterday. But housekeeping, if you're watching this, listening to this, all of our shows and all of my streams pop up on YouTube. So I encourage everybody to go to the YouTube channel, subscribe there, because then you get to see everything. And you get to see it a little bit sooner than it might hit podcast. But also you can see World of Warcraft and game demos, because every Tuesday, after alternating with the podcast, I try a new game. This past week, I gave a shot to a action RPG on Steam. Excuse me. Oh, no,
you
it wasn't
tell.
Steam. What the heck is it called? Something Chronicles. Let me get it. We're going to do this thing.
Okay. I'm waiting.
What's it called?
My breath is bated.
It is called Iuden Chronicles Rising.
Okay, yeah. I have that installed. I haven't played it yet. Is it a Amanda game? Should I immediately play it?
Well, you know what? Maybe. We'll talk about it in just a moment. So
okay, fair enough.
Because I am going to talk about it during Around the Horn, but I encourage everybody, if you want to see me play it. I played it about an hour, which was a reasonable amount of time for a demo, just to give people an idea of what it looks like. And I encourage everybody to take a look. And I'm going to do another one next week. So we're going to try a new game every week or every other week on the stream. So now that we've done the housekeeping, let's go around the horn. Amanda.
Yes.
I played Iuden Chronicles Rising. Now you may ask,
tell me all about it.
So Iuden Chronicles is a game. It's a JRPG that is being made by people who know how to make JRPGs. I would name names and name studios. The reality is it would mean something to literally me and Manda, because it's some deep cuts. But these are JRPG all-stars coming together. They made this game. It was one of the most funded games on Kickstarter last year, or maybe the year before. Time's a flat circle. But one of the stretch goals as part of it was that they would make like a prequel game. And that's what this is. So Iodine Chronicles Rising is it's set in the same world. It uses some of the same art assets, but instead of it being like a turn-based JRPG a la Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, etc., like that thing, this is a 2D action role-playing game, very similar to like the Ys games, Act Tracer, like that kind of stuff. So it's a side, So it is a different style game. You play as a young girl protagonist, and you're running around a world, side-scrolling, completing quests, gathering materials, fighting monsters. I played for about an hour. As you can imagine, an hour into an action RPG is not a lot to like really grok all of the systems. However, I thought the combat was clean, the music was wonderful, and I thought the animations were pretty okay. So I think this is one of the. It's on Game Pass, and it is relatively inexpensive everywhere else.
Okay. That's where I downloaded it, was Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Game
Which continues
Pass,
to be the best
value.
deal in gaming.
Except according to Kotaku for whatever reason this week.
I don't want to talk about that. I talked about that on my podcast. I don't want to talk about it here. This is for hype. This is for excitement.
Yeah,
this is for hype.
It's still a great value. Just I guess some people are burned out. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, I think it is. If you have Game Pass and you are interested in action RPGs at all, I think it's worth a download and give it a half hour to see if you like what it feels like to jump around and swing weapons. But yeah, Iuden Chronicles Rising, it is meant to be a prequel. We don't know how related to the next game it's going to be, but we do know that it's in the same world. So at the very least, it'll give you an idea of, I think, especially if you know of Iuden Chronicles and are waiting for that, there are plenty of people that backed it.
That's fair.
I think this is one of those, you get to see kind of the world building in action while they're developing the actual RPG. Because the actual RPG is not coming out for a while. Because, you know, it's a big old game. But everything looks really pretty. So I am a fan so far of Iuden Chronicles Rising. I think, and unless something else pressing comes up before next Tuesday, I will probably play it again for like a part 2. Because there really isn't a lot on the horizon for us until Mario Soccer Strikers, you know.
That's fair.
You know, like, we're in a drought, so you got to play the games.
I'm not in a drought. I got lots of games to play.
Well, okay. So, speaking of which, do you have any games that you can talk about?
Yes.
Ooh. So tell me.
I want to talk about Signs of the Sojourner for a second, because I've been talking about it everywhere. I played it on stream very, very randomly last Friday for Indie Friday. So for those of you that don't know, I stream on Twitch. Sorry, as Ready Player Mama. And on Fridays is Indie Friday, where we play indie games. It's a great way to showcase what's new and interesting in the world of indies, go back, play some favorites, discover new indies. And Xbox Game Pass, I did the shuffle. I went and I said, all right, recommend me something to play. And the first thing that they recommended to me was Mass Effect. And I'm like, listen, this is not a Mass Effect stream. I love Mass Effect. But you got to be in a place to play Mass Effect.
You also have to have many hours.
That's what I mean. I have like negative hours right now because it's grad season. And that means that my whole life is completely swallowed by children things. So I booted up Signs of the Sojourner. I had no idea what kind of game it was going to be. Because I mean, I've heard of it, but I wasn't familiar with the conceit. So I get into it, and it's a deck building game. And I was like, okay, I like deck building games.
It's pretty much made for you.
Yeah, all right. It's a deck building game where you use cards to have conversations. Okay. And those conversations flourish into relationships so that you can bring goods back to your mom's store on the caravan route, and you can help others along the way achieve their goals through having conversations.
Yeah, that sounds like an Amanda game.
I was like, how did I not know this game existed? So I have put a lot of hours into this game because it's extremely replayable. Because there are a bunch of different ways that things roll out. Sometimes you'll meet people that you didn't meet on your first playthrough of the game. Sometimes you will meet different people that you can have different kinds of conversations with, or you can develop different kinds of relationships with. And the cool thing about Signs of the Sojourner is that it's very much that kind of social commentary about, you know, the ways in which we change over time. We're exposed to new ideas, new thoughts, new feelings, new kinds of humans to have conversations with. And when we come home, are we really the same? So it was a really, really great game. really well crafted. The music is wonderful. The mechanics are great. And the ways in which the story can roll out completely differently each time, big fan.
It is also available on Switch. It's rated E10+.
I bought it on Switch.
That's right. Oh, you got it on Switch?
Oh, no, I played it on Xbox Game Pass and immediately purchased it on Switch.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like a game that would be pretty good, kind of hanging out, hanging out on the couch, chilling.
It's a super chill game. There are some deeply emotional moments in the game itself, but I love it because it explores, themes around family, themes around, what happens to towns when everybody leaves, what happens to regions when, they encounter a disaster. How do we use our relationships to build each other up as well as building our communities?
I dig that a lot. It's
glorious.
It's gonna be $20 on Switch, and I would presume everywhere else. Right now, it's on sale. So if you're watching right now and that sounds like a jam, and you got a Switch, go spend $14.99 and grab it. It's rated E10+.
It's
the
great.
Rating descriptors, alcohol and tobacco references, which means like you probably walk by a tavern.
You get wine.
You
can get wine on your route when you go to like the art town. Yeah. If you end up developing a relationship with one of the folks there, you can get wine. But the thing to get is the licorice.
The licorice. Okay. I mean, I've started to get like really like when I see the alcohol and tobacco references like button, or not button, descriptor on ESRB stuff. Like a lot of times, I almost gloss over it because in a lot of cases, like the stuff is there, but it's not like that doesn't mean it's like a core element to the game.
No,
it's an
and
item
there's
that
like
you pick up, or it's a bottle on a table.
Exactly. Yeah, and one of the characters that you encounter that's from your town of Bartow, he's a smoker.
Yeah, right.
He has a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah.
But they don't make a big deal about it. Like smoking is just a thing that happens every once in a while, but like it's not something that is a central piece of the actual game. So anyway, Signs of the Sojourner, pick it up, play it, love it. You love deck building games. If you're really curious about how deck builders might be able to work in like a non-violent setting, because there's nothing violent about this game. It's extremely focused on family relationships and connections.
Yeah, it sounds great to me. It really does sound cool. I like the art style too. So everybody that's watching Signs of the Sojourner, definitely take a look at it. I have a tabletop role-playing game that I wanted to talk about ever so briefly.
Okay, tell me.
So
I love it when you're my hype man.
I have in my hands the playtest rulebook that is currently available for a role-playing game. The full version is coming out next year, and that is the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game.
Ooh.
So
how did you get your paws on that? That's glorious.
You can buy it on Amazon for $10. That's how I got it.
Okay, fair enough.
Nothing fancy. With that said,
see, this was my way of being like, Steve is a very important person that you should know.
Oh, you thought
that's where I thought we were going with this.
You were trying to? No. I bought it on Amazon for $10. With that said, you might be
talk to me about it.
I think first off, a couple people when I mentioned this, I was like, yeah, I bought the playtest book. Like my brother, he was like, why not? Why would you buy a playtest book for an RPG? And I was like, you know what? Because number one, it was only $10, which is not a lot. And for $10, this is actually a really interesting read, even if you never intend to play the game. Because it does give you a pretty reasonable breakdown of the way the game is going to work. And it actually, it includes the different archetypes, which are the classes. And it actually has like skill trees and power descriptions. And it also has stat blocks for heroes, such as Storm and Miles Morales and Thor and Wolverine, etc. And then it even has a little adventure in the back. So for $10, I think for a role-playing game fan, especially if you just kind of wanted to get an idea, a taste of what the Marvel RPG is going to be like when it comes out without having to buy the full book next year, which is going to be expensive, right? Because that's core rulebooks for RPGs are, says the two households that both went all in on the Avatar one. And like, and between our two households, it was like a car payment. This is $10 to like really get into this. You know what I mean? So here's how this game works. This is what I really like about it. It's a D6 based system. In fact, the system is called the 616 system.
Oh, that's fun.
I
see what you did there, Marvel.
Because this is the Multiverse role-playing game. And so the idea is when you are trying to take actions, you roll 3 die. 2 of them need to be one color. 1 of them needs to have be a different color from the others. And that is the Marvel die. It has a Marvel... The ones that they're going to sell are going to have a Marvel logo instead of the 1. But you can use anything with a 1.
Of course.
Basically, what they have is they have basically super crits and super failures. So if you roll 6 ones... So if you roll 6, 1, 6... That is a super crit, which means you succeeded in what you wanted to do and something else fantastic happens.
Well, I love that.
Which, for the record, I like for other games. And may very well just have everyone roll a d6 with everything. And it's like if you crit and you roll a 1, then... it's not only great, but something really cool happens. But also, the opposite is true. If you roll all 1s, so it goes. There's a super crit. If you succeed, but you also roll on the Marvel, that helps you. And then, obviously, if you roll all 1s, it is a fantastic failure, which means you not only failed, but something not great
fantastical
occurred. Yeah, something bad happens. So I kind of dig it, right? You're still taking the totals, adding them up, doing modifiers. It works very similarly to the Roll20 system. It's just instead of a D20 or D10s in other games, you're doing D6s, and it's really just for the flavor of 616. I think, and that's fine with me. I think that's great. Some of the skill bonuses, so one of the things that I really like is they really differentiate, like, skill... In Dungeons & Dragons, for example, when they talk about skill checks, you kind of have to skill check just about everything, right? Like, they...
Sure.
But in this game, they really allow the storyteller or the dungeon master to really determine if it's something that the character might not automatically be able to do. So, and they take into account the fact that some of these characters
anarchy.
Yeah, like, these guys are superhuman. Like, the Hulk... should not have a problem
busting open a door
or lifting up a manhole cover or something like that, right? Whereas, like, maybe like Black Widow might, right? Because she's a person.
Sure. And doesn't have super strength.
She doesn't have super strength. And so, that type of thing, right? The idea of, although it's a bad example, she would just blow it up. But
no, it's true. No, she would.
She would find a different way
That's
around
fair.
it. But that's the idea, right? That's the idea, right? Is that if characters are dealing with stuff that is not there, she shouldn't necessarily have any problem disguising her voice and being subtle about it, right? Like, she should just do that automatically. That's her thing. Whereas the Hulk, if he's trying to describe, kind of hide himself, that's hard, So
Hulk's gonna fail a lot of stealth tests.
Yeah, exactly. And so they really do bake into the system that your character, that we know who these characters are, assuming you are playing archetypal characters. Because one of the things that's really interesting is it has stat blocks, and there will be stat blocks for all of our favorite heroes. There already are a bunch in here. They do a really good job of explaining the different classes, or archetypes. And then, but there are going to be more, obviously, released. And then clearly, the fan community will go crazy. And it's not like if you just need to be like, well, listen, I want to be Omega Red for whatever reason. You just go on Reddit or Google it, and someone on Reddit will have made Omega Red.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
So, I really dig it. I think this has a lot of real potential. Fun fact, my mom has said she wants to play this game.
I love your mom. I've never met her. I love her.
You should at some point. Because she's great. And when I was like, hey, Nana, check out this tabletop role-playing game, she was like, A Marvel game. Okay, I could get down with that. Because, you know, and this is absolutely the case. Some people just dig different genres. My mom is a bigger MCU fan than anyone on Earth. And
Who knew?
so
I didn't know that.
Did I ever tell you about her Infinity Gem situation?
What? No.
Okay, so before Infinity War came out, this is Marvel related, so I'll tell this. This is a really funny story. So my mom, who is, you know, like, she's not visibly a dork, right? You can't identify her. You can me.
That's gonna be
right?
me. That's gonna be me when I get older, and I'm like a grandma.
But this
I'm a Nona.
Different. Yeah, exactly. So she loves the MCU, loves it. Not as much as she loves the Avatar movies, by the way. She loves the Avatar movie.
Okay.
But MCU is like her jam. She showed me one day on her floral like paper. What do you call that? Her stationery. On her floral stationery. You know, the stuff that she would normally write like shopping lists. She made a list of all 6 Infinity Stones and went back and rewatched the MCU to figure out where, up to that point, to figure out where all the gems were, and made her own predictions on where she thought the ones that we hadn't seen yet were.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. She predicted, and I can't even argue with it. She predicted that the Soul Stone was in Wakanda. And you know what? That was as good a guess as anybody. I put that up against any theory crafter, TikToker, anybody that wanted to predict where the Soul Stone was. I'd put that right up there as this is just as plausible as anything else anybody else said. So when I showed her a Marvel role-playing game where you could play as your favorite Marvel superheroes, she was all in. The one thing that I think is going to be a real challenge here is they, instead of levels, you have ranks. And
yeah, that's not surprising to me that they handled it like that.
And the different heroes have different ranks. So, for example, like Black Panther is a rank 15 striker, right? Captain Marvel is a rank 25 blaster, right? And it is not inconceivable to imagine plenty of game scenarios where the two of them would be perfectly fitting in the same, like they would go on missions together. It's Black Panther and Captain Marvel. Like,
sure.
And so that is one of the commentary that I saw, you know, online, and some of the discourse about this is, you know, trying to figure out how to balance. And they have a chapter in here. Well, it's not really a chapter, a couple pages in here talking about the dealing with different ranks and stuff. I think ultimately that's going to come up to being a skilled storyteller, you know, how you handle it.
That's fair.
And also just accepting the fact that there are certain circumstances, even in the comics, where Captain Marvel is just going to blow everything up and Black Panther's going to chill in the back like, what's up? Like, he's not going to... He'd be cool as long as they won. But that's different from, like, Dungeons & Dragons, where everything is pseudo-balanced, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't... This is... so I think this is going to be great fun. I will definitely be playing with this, and... I'm looking forward to the full book. So that is the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. Like I said, it's on Amazon for $10. I think it's a very quick read, and the art is very cool. I mean, there's some neat art.
Awesome.
So there's lots of reasons to check this out. And there's rules in here to make your own superhero too, because you don't just have to use canon Marvel characters. You can make your own.
Great. I'll build my City of Heroes character.
Yeah, you absolutely could. I can't imagine that you couldn't. In fact, maybe a little adjustment, but probably not.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, did you play anything else you want to talk about? You got one more?
Or should we move on to the news? What else do I... No, I don't think so. I'm going to save my tabletop pick for...
Save her for when Linda's back. She'll be very, very
Linda's
excited.
back, because I actually did play a tabletop game, so... And it's a restoration game.
Ooh, I know what you're talking
about. You know which one I'm talking about. But we also have to like spend a long time talking about it because it's just that good.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with that. So, well, let's go to the news, shall we?
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. Take me through it.
Today is all about licensed games, and I don't mean that like a cuss word. Remember how like there was like a good
about like the years of THQ before it folded? We're not talking about those licensed games. We're talking about like new licensed games.
We're talking about like a new era where licensed games are either like I think I part of that is the licensed game drought ended with like Batman Arkham Asylum. And people just forget that Batman is a license. I think we just all collectively just forgot. But
forgot because Rocksteady did such a great job.
Exactly. Right. So I'm not going to say that these are 10 out of 10 masterpieces, but what we have here is there's a company called Outright
Not Marvel
Games.
Spider-Man, right?
It's not Marvel Spider-Man. It's not. Outright Games is a company. They I communicate with them on the regular. And what I really like about them is their announcements tend to go completely uncovered by core games press. And instead, their announcements are covered by mommy bloggers and toy YouTubers and stuff like that, because all of their games are licensed games targeted at young kids. And so Engaged Family Gaming is, we straddle the middle in that we do talk about serious games journalist-y stuff, right? Because I have one, and because I purport to be one on an amateur level.
Do?
So,
hello.
But a lot of companies categorize us. They put us right, especially board game companies. They put us right alongside in the categories of, mommy blogs and toy reviewers and stuff like that. So I kind of get to see both sides, and I absolutely love it. And over the last handful of years, one of my favorite things every summer is getting the announcements for the fall lineup for Outright Games. Even though I truly do not play a lot of them, but I've got some respect for them. And people will remember last year, I was all in on the Peppa Pig adventure game.
I remember this.
And this is the same company, Outright Games. These are serious, real game developers, right? We know, you and I know this. There's no such thing as
anyone that makes games is a game developer.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what you're making, you're a developer.
And these are folks that take this seriously. And yeah, they don't have massive AAA budgets, but what they do have is properties that they know kids really value, and they don't mess around with the resources they have. So
you love to see it.
So I have 5 announcements for what I would call probably like AA games that are targeted directly at the younger set. And so I'm just going to go through some of these announcements and we can talk about it. So the first one, and all of them are based on licensed game, Netflix or Nickelodeon, etc. Toy brands. Okay. The first one is a 3D kind of like action platformer set in the Dreamworks Dragons Legends of the Nine Realms universe. So Dragons is the How to Train Your Dragons universe. So this is a prequel set way back in the past. It's a Netflix show about a bunch of dragons back in the day. And this is
that's super cool.
Kind of an action RPG. I mean, action RPG, everything that I say is it's got light RPG elements, light platforming, etc. You play as
So is it more like an action adventure?
Yeah, kind of like that, where you're playing as the various characters from the show, including the previous, the one that's like the Black Lightning one, but older. So it's
Toothless?
It's like Toothless, only it's one of Toothless's ancestors, because this is set thousands of years in the past.
Right.
And I think this is one of those games that, especially if you have a younger kid who is super into either just dragons in general or the DreamWorks Dragons stuff, this is going to be one of those cool little, single-player action-adventure games that is coming out this fall. All of these games are targeted to come out this fall, with the exception of one. We'll get there. So that's the first one. DreamWorks Dragons, Legends of the Nine Realms. It is like I said, 3D action platformer. Next, this is one I am actually going to play. I'm going to have them send this to me, and that's because I love me some kart racers. I love me some kart racers.
That is a big yes.
What children's property absolutely needed a kart racer right now?
Oh my god, there's so many.
Do you have a guess? How about Paw Patrol? Did you think Paw Patrol needed a kart racer?
Paw Patrol needed a kart racer.
Yes. They all have little trucks and stuff. So this is called Paw Patrol Grand Prix.
Oh my gosh.
The thing that I like about this is, first off, it looks cute. I mean, but they all look cute, right? But what I really like about it is, it's Paw Patrol Grand Prix. It's on just about everything. It's coming to Stadia. I don't know why. It's coming to Stadia.
Get that Stadia money, honey, because it's going away.
I mean, sure, whatever. I mean, they're putting it on everything. They put it on everything that will play a video game. Now,
cool.
They'll sell like 3 copies. It'll be fine.
On Stadia, you mean?
Yeah, on Stadia. No, this is assuming it is a 7. This will sell well.
A solid 7 would be great.
Listen, a 7 is like Game of the Year material for these kinds of things. Like, as far
heck
as that.
Yeah.
So, because they don't have the budget to really compete with everything else. But the thing that I really like about this is, and a lot of kart racers struggle with this, is accessibility. Because when you are young,
big time.
The driving, the gas, the whatever, they straight up in their announcement said, that they have an auto gas and an auto steering mode. So literally,
that's so great.
If you want to give a kid the ability to just hold a controller and only control when they use their Paw Patrol mischief items, like their weapons, that's it. They can just control that.
That's so fun.
And they can turn on, if they just want to steer, they can turn off the gas, whatever. Much like Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had a lot of those fantastic accessibility options for children.
Exactly. And so the fact that that has been kind of, and some people would argue that Mario Kart didn't need it, quote unquote. I think it adds to that experience. They definitely did.
They did, because it was important, because like if you think back to what Mario Kart was when we were young, back in the 90s on the Super Nintendo, it was hard. It was hard to learn how to play that game when you were a kid.
It's absolutely. With that said, if I were to be shown Mario Kart and a Paw Patrol game and had to guess which one was going to get the accessibility options first, I would have assumed that it would have been the Paw Patrol game, right? The fact that they both do is awesome. So that's Paw Patrol Grand Prix. Obviously, that is coming out later on this year. Most of these games also, they didn't give us price points through the announcements, but historically,
I'm sure they'll be $30 and under.
Historically, Outright Games published games have been in the budget title range. Now I want to talk about one that I am truthfully not very excited about, but I wanted to hear your take on it.
I'm listening.
What if I told you that they were on? What if I told you that Outright Games was publishing an LOL doll surprise game called LOL Surprise BB's Born to Travel? What if I told you?
I'd probably run in the other direction, to be honest. I don't like the LOL dolls. And honestly, Vivian doesn't play with dolls, so what do I know?
Now, I do know that Mega Mom's kids do, kind of collect them, play with them, etc.
And I want to know Mega Mom's take on this.
Well, Mega Mom is freaking out in the chat a little bit. They're making a game based on this. Now, it's an Overcooked clone.
Oh. Weird.
So, like, on the one hand, it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's just...
Okay, I love Overcooked.
So, it's an Overcooked clone where basically what you are doing is building surprise... Because the LOL dolls, they come in the little surprise spheres where you open them up and it's got, like, a doll and, like, some accessories or whatever. You're building those. So it'll be, somebody will come up to the window and be like, okay, I need these boots and these pants and this hat, and you gotta like assemble it. And otherwise, the assembly line is breaking, and it's doing all the normal Overcooked stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, Megamon said in the chat that the dolls are not for her, but that her youngest will love anything to do with them. I mean, they are. I mean, my daughter likes them too. Like they're cute.
Yeah, Vivi finds dolls creepy.
I mean, some people don't. Listen, everybody got a thing.
Everybody's different. Vivian likes bug snacks, which I'm not gonna lie to you, pretty creepy.
Bugsnax.
Even though I love them.
Bugsnax are awesome, and I love Bugsnax, but Bugsnax are freaking weird.
They're super weird.
So this is coming out later on this year. I will admit that when I think of a game that like when I think of like a franchise and like what matches it, I don't necessarily think of Overcooked matching with this. However, I think it's a neat idea. It should be interesting. This is going to be a multiplayer-centric game. With that said, it's going to be very stressful, and be prepared to watch a couple YouTube videos before you buy this one.
Okay.
And you can get a heads up by watching YouTube videos of Overcooked and decide whether or not you want that kind of chaos in your life.
It's, honestly, Overcooked is one of those things where you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. You can't be like lukewarm on Overcooked.
Yeah. It stresses me out.
And that's fair. It's stressful.
I have an issue where when I'm playing games, I can do like 3 things at once.
Okay.
Tops.
Okay.
If you ask me to do 4 things at once, what's going to happen is one of those buttons is going to short circuit at any given time. I accept.
Fair enough.
And I accept that means occasionally I will die. Sometimes if you're on easy, you just get away with it. Maybe you have enough health to get past it or whatever. If you give me a 5th thing to do, none of them happen.
That's it, man.
It's like why I don't do mythic raids in World of Warcraft, because they ask you to do 5 things at once, and I'm like, nope, can't do it.
Game over, man. Game over.
Game over. Can't do it. So anyway, that's what's up with the LOL surprise. 2 more quick ones. Next one. Have you heard of Star Trek Prodigy?
No. How have I not heard of a Star Trek game?
So first off, Star Trek Prodigy is a Nickelodeon cartoon set in the Star Trek universe about a group of younger...
Oh, hold on a second. I thought that was on Paramount Plus.
It might be.
I might have started watching it.
It's by Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, I do remember this. I watched the first episode with Vivian.
Yeah, so it's on Paramount Plus. It's a Nickelodeon cartoon, Star Trek Prodigy. It's about kids in the Star Trek universe, like alien kids, and they're like a group of exceptional young, adventurers, not quite in Starfleet, whatever, led by Admiral Catherine Janeway, who does the voice acting, by the way.
She does,
and so which is awesome. And guess what else? She does the voice acting in the video game also, because Star Trek
very
Prodigy
cool
Supernova is Outright Games, and that's coming out this fall.
That might be fun.
This is like a multiplayer, kind of top-down, isometric / top-down, like, cooperative shooter, where you're, running around, doing some puzzles, switching characters around, because different people have different skills, doing Star Trek stuff.
Doing things that you do in Star Trek.
This is one of those, lots of pick up and move the block puzzles, lots of, opening up gates and finding keys and shooting some cartoony monsters. Look, I said that, and it makes it sound like I'm being super reductive, but I'm really not. I'm just describing a game that I want to play.
Yes, I would really also like to play this game now.
So that is Star Trek Prodigy. If you haven't heard of Star Trek Prodigy, it's on Paramount Plus. And I believe the whole first season is available now, so you could buy it for a month, watch it, and then cancel. Which, by the way, is the totally acceptable way to use subscription services. If you're done watching the stuff, you can cancel it. I just want to make that very clear to people. I don't know why some people just assume that it's like it's not like it's a product. You can buy it. You don't have to stay subscribed forever. I've had some people give me attitude on the internet because I have advocated, sign up for game. Like if there's nothing that you want to play on Game Pass, it's cool to cancel. Like, so if you don't need to, if all you want to do on Apple TV, it is the best deal in gaming. But if you're done, if you don't want to play anything, then
if you don't want to play any more indies, I mean that's fine.
Buy a sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
no, for real.
Buy a burrito. Or like if all you want to do is watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV, even though Prehistoric Planet on Apple TV is very good right now. It's a David Attenborough.
I've heard.
It's very good. I watched the first 2 episodes today. It's very good. But
there are 2 things that I really like in this world: David Attenborough and dinosaurs.
Well, it's a David Attenborough documentary about dinosaurs. So
that sounds great. I'm gonna go do it.
If all you want is Ted Lasso, then just wait until Ted Lasso comes out to buy Apple TV Plus, right?
That's fine.
So the last thing I want to talk about, and we got a tease, no actual game announcement, but Outright Games did reveal that they are making a DC Justice League video game that will be coming out sometime next year. And okay. I'm going to share my screen because the art on this is absolutely worth showing. So hold on. I think I can just... We're going to do this. I'm just going to make a display capture. There we go, everybody. It is the super cute Justice League characters, and it's got Cyborg and the Flash and Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Green Lantern, and Aquaman. And it looks super cute. And I mean, if you're into it, then you're into it. If you're not, then cool. So that is all the announcements from Outright Games. What do you think? I mean,
that's fantastic. That's a pretty good set.
And what I really love is, like, at the end of their showcase, right? Like, at the end of their showcase, they show, like, a bunch of reactions, like the reaction videos. And we've seen reaction videos included as part of, like, promotional packages for, like, the Xbox showcase and so on. And it's just a bunch of YouTubers maybe screaming a little bit more than they probably would if they were not on camera. You know, like, it's not necessarily super genuine. Like, how many grown people would, like, freak out because Sora appeared on a Smash trailer and, like, break things? I don't know. Some, yes, but everyone, probably not. But this was a lot of children watching and playing these games and seeing their genuine, heartfelt joy at playing all sorts of stuff. And so I absolutely loved it.
It sounds really interesting. Like,
Don't come at me, Sora fans. You know I love Kingdom Hearts, but come on.
It's true. Anyway. No breaking things.
Yeah.
Don't break things. Breaking things is bad. Honestly, because it's a mess, and then you end up having to clean it up. And do you honestly want to clean up messes? Because God knows I don't. Yeah, so it sounds really interesting. I mean, like, listen, I love the idea of a Paw Patrol kart racer. I'm not going to lie to you. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And that's a great introduction for children to get into kart racing. And then they move on to... Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and, especially with all the new maps coming out, yep. That's a game that's going to have a ton of staying power, but RIP Mario Kart 9. What are you going to do?
I mean, well, Mario Kart 9 was Mario Kart World Tour.
Well,
we're going to get Mario Kart 10. I mean, let's be real.
Okay, fair. No, that's fair. It's fair.
We're going to get a Mario Kart 10. We're going to. It's in development. They're giving us all these maps now to get people to leave them alone. Guys,
stop bugging us.
Can you leave us alone? For real.
Stop bugging us.
Here's new maps. God. Anyway, can we just have that be our depressed game developer voices? We'll just do that. That'll be our thing. Guys, leave us alone. Okay, so let's talk about another licensed game.
Give me those tots, Napoleon.
God. Oh, man, did that just happen?
It happened. It happened. Get into it.
Oh, thank you, Mega Mom, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Long time, easily one of the biggest EFG super fans in history. She would defend us in gladiatorial combat. I am certain. So
honestly, I'd defend Mega Mom in gladiatorial combat.
Oh, well, that goes without saying. The two of us would throw down if need be.
I would.
I would. And in fact,
I would wreck a fool.
There'd be So anyway, let's talk about Marvel Snap that was announced this week.
Yeah, could you talk to me about this, because I legit have no idea. I heard nothing. Mind you, I've been mostly off the internet because I've been working.
Yeah, you've been doing stuff. You've been working. You've been dealing with end of year stuff for all your kiddos. I get it.
Brad Season's killing me.
Marvel Snap is a Marvel no, it's not like Pokemon Snap, although that would be awesome. Could you imagine?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I would be super into that.
No, Marvel Snap. I don't know why they call it Snap. Well,
it would be Marvel Paparazzi though, like.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Marvel Snap like Thanos Snap, but Marvel Snap is a free-to-play digital collectible card game.
Cute.
So it's like Hearthstone-ish. It is, so here's how this game works. You build 12 card decks. All of the cards are heroes. And villains.
Okay.
And the idea is it plays very similarly, I think, to Smash Up. In that there are 3 territories on the board. Hi, buddy. 3 territories on the board. And what you and your opponent are doing are competing to play your heroes and villains down to try and capture 2 of the 3 territories on the ground. And the different cards combo with each other to combat.
That does sound very interesting.
Extra factoid, and this is something that because they one of the things they talked about in their reveal trailer is that they looked at other card games on the market. That would be like Hearthstone, Artifact when it was still a thing, the League of Legends card game, Magic the Gathering Arena, Yu-Gi-Oh! Online,
Legend of Runeterra, wasn't it?
Legend of Runeterra, which is still around, by the way.
Oh yeah, people still play it.
Because Riot can do whatever they want. Because League of Legends proper makes up $1 trillion, so they could have loss leaders all over the place. Their new fighting, the Riot Games fighting game is going to take over the world. I think it looks real good. But
I might start playing Valorant.
Valorant also real good. My middle son has asked if he could play Valorant this summer. I didn't say no. He just asked. I was like, I guess.
Fair enough.
But anyway, I let him play Overwatch. So like, Valorant is basically, like if it's as inoffensive. Maybe it's less so. I don't know. I think it depends. We'd have to look at the charts. Anyway, that was a deep cut.
Oh, yeah, but it's a deep cut that I understood.
If you don't get the joke I just made, don't
worry about it.
You don't want to know. So Marvel Snap, the one thing that they found was a universal complaint across Magic the Gathering Arena, Hearthstone, etc., is players stalling out because of having to take turns and having to wait for your opponent. So you know what they do? You both play simultaneously. And gameplay is balanced under the assumption that you're just playing through your 12 cards, putting stuff out. I think that is such a good feature. Because the idea is if your opponent stalls out or they're not playing or whatever, then you just win, right? Because you're playing.
Nice.
So you don't, I'm sure that there is some, I'm sure that they make it so that just being on a really good internet connection doesn't mean you auto-win games. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of a delay while you're capturing the region. I don't know. They didn't explain it in great detail. I'm sure they have managed to make it real time where you're not taking turns, but also not stupid. Because it would be kind of dumb if I could just jack my computer in and then go and play against somebody on their phone on a bus and just wreck them because that's the other piece is it's both mobile and PC crossplay from the get-go, which I think is really cool. They talked a lot about one of the key features of this game is going to be the art on the various cards. All the heroes are going to be represented by cool collections of art from different artists within Marvel, without Marvel. And they're really focusing on like the style. I'm just here to say that I want to make a 12-card Vision deck, and none of you can stop me. We don't know when it's coming out. It should be. There's going to be a beta. When did they say? Let's see here. Initially, it's going to launch. It's going to launch with 150 characters.
Oh,
across the whole 80 from across the whole license. It's from Newverse, which is, they work on mobile games straight up.
Very cool.
Let's see here. There is a limited edition closed beta on Android devices that you can register for, but it's launching later this year. So, I think this looks really cool. Let me get the I'm going to get the the video and put it in the chat for people. Yeah, I think this is one of those games that, this is not going to be for everybody, but I definitely think that there's definitely an audience for this. I'm certainly going to try it out. This might be one of those games that sneaks in on a New Game Tuesday. And who knows? It could turn into it could be it could be like a big deal. I don't know. They didn't say a lot about monetization, but my guess is that it's going to function similarly to other collectible card games on the market. There will be a way to play it. There will be, Jevador, this has my attention. That's about as, I get it. Listen, I get it. It had mine too. I was so glad that my mom was on the show and I was going to bring it up. I think it's awesome looking.
That sounds really cool.
Oh, she fired the Jevador flare gun. Thank you, Mega Mom. I think it's great, right? This is exactly what...
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It could be terrible, but I think what I think is probably going to happen is it's probably going to be fine at worst.
You know what? I'm leaving room to always be wrong about when games kind of look like this could be middling, could also be fabulous. Well, I'm just going to leave room for it to be whatever it's going to be. And if it sucks, it sucks.
I don't think it will be bad. That's what I think. Just from looking at it, just the idea of it, the way that it's, the developers, the way that, what I have seen so far, I think that at the absolute nightmare, it's going to be fine and hardcore Marvel fans will like it.
Fair enough.
But I also think it has the entire possibility to take over the freaking world. Marvel has never been bigger. I mean, give us the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. Give us a Jane Foster Mighty Thor card, and that's all I need, really.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's see here. Yeah, so Jevador in the chat saying I'm like 2.5 years into MSF. That's Marvel Strike Force, I'm guessing. So if it's a collecting Marvel stuff game, I'm the right demographic. No. The marketing lasers. Your Facebook is going to be all over ads for this game. Like, they have got you, so be ready. Be ready for the ads for this game. So, I'm going to share my screen again, because I want to show one more thing. There are supposed to be villains in there also. I definitely know there are going to be villains. So, yeah, I definitely know they revealed, like, a Galactus card, and, like, what's his name? Oh, man. But I saw a bunch of villains, like, in the trailer. That much I know. Nice. So they're in there.
Very cool.
So I'm just going to share my screen a little bit, just because I want to show some people. I can't not show this. This is just too freaking cute. We got an announcement about an Aloy Nendoroid figure.
Oh, man. I'm excited about that.
I know Nendoroids are real expensive.
Nendos are very expensive.
But you kind of get what you pay for.
Legit.
They are really cool. This is, I think, the cutest Nendoroid they've ever made. And what I like about it, they come with a bunch of different faces and different ways to pose them. This is my personal favorite pose because it kind of reminds me of my daughter. Because she would make that face.
No one can see me, but I'm like making that face right now.
Yep, she's definitely making the face. I absolutely. So this is, I mean,
that's so cool.
For legal purposes, I can't say that I have pre-ordered already. And by legal purposes, I mean I just don't want to tell my wife that I pre-ordered it already.
No, that's fair. I get you, buddy. I get you. See, I'll do it again.
But maybe I did.
Maybe you did. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. So, maybe I did. I must have it. All right, cutest Nendoroid is roll. Sir, that is your bias speaking. Because you are the biggest Mega Man fan on Earth. Maybe in the entire multiverse, I think.
That might be fair.
I think you are such a fan of Mega Man that you are like the equivalent of like a Mega Man Nexus being. Like, you are the Mega Man fan throughout the entire multiverse. Speaking of multiverses, let's talk about multiverses.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Let us do.
When this got leaked,
she's so cute. I just love her.
So this hoodie that she is wearing behind me is a massive, like oversized, like fleece lined, Baby Yoda hoodie.
So you're gonna send me the link to that, right?
It was at Costco.
Oh, it was you found it at Costco.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll just go to Costco then. It's fine. I got one nearby.
And it's so big. It's so big that like I could wear it, but it's like meant for a 9-year-old, so it's like a blanket. And so literally the second she gets home from school, she throws that on and lives in it. And what's funny is like the hood is so huge that when she holds her phone, she doesn't have a phone, she has an iPod Touch, but like when she holds, but we call it her phone because it's whatever. She'll hold it.
Because it functions like a phone at home.
It really does, because all her friends have Skype. How weird is that?
What?
She has.
I have all the questions.
So to talk about that briefly, and because I think it's actually kind of interesting, so she has she's not on Discord, but she has Facebook Kids.
Yeah, so Vivian gave both you too.
And she uses that to talk to like a bunch of her friends. But then she has another group who one of their a friend from school, her cousin is in California, and her cousin's mom doesn't use Facebook. So like if you don't have a parent on Facebook, then Facebook Messenger is off limits, so they use Skype.
Okay.
And so like I was looking at it, I'm like, why are you on I looked at it, I'm like, why are you on Skype? Now the only problem with Skype is you use usernames as opposed to real names. It's one of the things that I like about Facebook Messenger Kids is that you know who they are.
Yes.
And like you know who who are you and what does your daddy do? Like it's like that kindergarten cop movie. It's like, oh, we can figure this out.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Who's your daddy? What does he do? Like we can figure that out. And so
I'm so annoyed that I know that.
I mean, that movie's a classic. And great. So I was looking at the chat, and there's just I recognize her name, like her nicknames, because that's her username. And I see what they're calling her in the chat, and it all makes sense. And then I recognize her other friend, and I get that. And then there's this other random person. I'm like, who is that? It's like, oh, it's just somebody my friend knows. And I was like, whoa. We had to have like a minute where I was like, okay, like, could you find out from your friend who that person is? Like, can they tell me their name? Because if they can tell me their name, then I'm kind of cool.
Big mood.
But like, if it's just some random person, like that's kind of not cool. And it turns out that it was her friend from school's cousin from California. And
got it.
She uses Skype because her mom and dad don't use Facebook. And then I was like, oh, everything is so. And I was like, all you had to do was tell me that. I just needed to know that this was not just some stranger that you met in a Minecraft lobby. You know, like, but problem solved. Anyway, speaking of multiverses, let's talk about Multiverses. When this game was leaked, I thought it was a lie. I was absolutely convinced that there was no way that this game was happening. It is a tag team Smash Brothers clone featuring Warner Brothers licensed characters with a lineup from the launch that included Warner Brothers superheroes like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, but also Finn the Human and Jake the Dog, Steven Universe, Shaggy, including his Hyper Instinct meme form, which is clearly something he's never done in any of his comics. Or not comics, he's done it in the comics, but never in any of his cartoons. But apparently he goes Super Saiyan and rip his shirt off and fight Superman, because of course he can. But also Arya Stark. Of Game of Thrones fan, you know, the young lady who killed a man's son and baked it into a pie and fed it to a guy.
Yeah.
She's in this family-friendly fighting game.
Don't worry about
joined by Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny. So
don't worry about it.
I thought this was a complete lie. I was like, there's no way they're doing this. And then they launched it, and I was like, what? And the tagline.
What? Are you sure?
The tagline for this game, Unlikely Allies, Dynamic Duos, is so perfect. So I have not played it yet. There was a closed beta. I didn't get it. I applied. I didn't get into it. But we've both watched some on stream.
Oh, yeah. I've watched a lot of streaming around Multiverses.
This looks good. What do you think?
Real good. I don't love Smash-alikes because I don't love Smash, mainly because I'm terrible at it, and I've been ruthlessly punished in game for being terrible at Smash. So
I mean, girl, same. Can we be tag team partners in Multiverses?
Yeah, no, we'll do that because it's the only way we'll win anything.
Yeah. We'll rely on our communication,
our terrible powers, and be like marginally better together. It's just those games are just, I'm just not very good at them. I don't know why I'm not very good at them, but I'm just not very good at them. So when I saw this and I saw some of the gameplay around it, I was like, I mean, it's a licensed brawler. How great is it going to be? It looks fantastic. And the gameplay is fluid. The graphics are gorgeous. But the most important thing to me as a fan of a lot of these, different kinds of fandoms, the barks are great. They sound like the characters they're representing, which is not something that I can say about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawler, where there aren't any barks.
Correct. I'm putting
look at this.
I'm putting the art up on the screen, so you're not going to be able to see myself and Amanda. But actually, you can. Hold on. Let me be smart about this because I am smart and know how to do this. So yeah, look at this. This looks amazing, and
it looks so good.
You know what this reminds me of? Is Disney Infinity. In that, what they did is they created like an art style that really kind of merges these very different things. Like you shouldn't be able to say this is. Here we go. We got Shaggy going Ultra Instinct, and
about to fight Arya.
And he's about to fight Arya Stark, and they fit together.
And apparently punch Bugs Bunny in the face.
Well, I mean, of course.
That's okay, Bugs has got this.
Steve has definitely played against our family in Smash and suffered for it. Absolutely true. And then here we got Garnet just rolling out. I
love Garnet. Garnet's amazing.
Did you make it to... Have you seen this video before?
No, I haven't seen this video before.
Wait until you get to the end. This is great. So Tasmanian Devil with Harley Quinn.
What's up, Taz?
Taz and Harley Quinn...
that's the greatest because if you know anything about Harley Quinn, you know how much she loves her hyenas.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean it's a show me a more iconic duo. I'll wait. Actually, you'll see another more iconic duo later on in this trailer, and you're gonna be like, "Whoa!" So I'm gonna move us. I can't because it'll ruin everything else. I'm blocking it.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So this is one of those things where I am really excited to see where this goes, knowing that this is not the whole roster. I mean, this video actually revealed some more characters from later. They revealed Velma, and also that's Superman. But wait until we see who shows up next to him, which is amazing.
Okay, I'm ready. My body's ready. What? The Iron Giant.
Well, of course, which is extra funny because if you think about it, the Iron Giant loves him some Superman. That is also an OP team up, and I am not fighting Superman and the Iron Giant. So we're gonna pause this real quick because you can't really see it very well. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move it up. So this is all the characters that have been currently announced.
Just hide us.
Multiverses. So from left to right, we have Jake the Dog, Tasmanian Devil, Velma, Harley Quinn, Tom and Jerry, Wonder Woman, Garnet, Superman, Batman, Bugs Bunny, Iron Giant, Arya Stark, Shaggy, Steven Universe, Finn, and I don't know what that green dog...
Apparently that green dog is an OC.
Okay. All right. So, great. Which makes it even scarier to think about how all the stuff they can put in here because, now they can just make stuff up. My sons and I, we were in the living room, just when this trailer came out, yakking about it, right? And, we'll go ahead and hide this because, and we were yakking about it because it was like, well, what else could they put in there? Right?
Sure.
And going in to look at it, and we got to think about other properties that Warner Brothers owns.
There's a lot.
Not only do they, you have to think about what all of these characters kind of imply, right? Like we know because of Adventure Time and Steven Universe, that gives them Cartoon Network, which is a lot.
It's infinite. It feels almost infinite.
The Looney Tunes gives them like, admittedly, the Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry is obviously not a Looney Tune, but like, since they have that era across a number of different companies,
also Tiny Toons,
which is insane.
Animaniacs,
and it gives them Animaniacs, which is a given,
and Pinky and the Brain.
And oh man, Brain.
They have so much.
We also have, and I will mention it for sake of completion, we don't have to talk about much further. That does mean they have Harry Potter. They also have Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that could be very interesting.
Rings. So, I mean, the DC superheroes, like, even if they just stick with, like, the core Justice League that people know about, like, we know that we can assume that we'll get the Flash and we'll get Green Lantern. But here's what's really interesting. Arya Stark.
Sure.
Means that means they have HBO stuff. Now, I, myself...
Which means Sesame Street.
Which does mean Sesame Street. But Mega Mom's saying she's hoping for a Tim Drake Robin because, of course, she's hoping for a Tim Drake Robin. Jevador said that Gandalf was shown in early footage but has since disappeared. That they are trying to get original voice actors, so getting Ian McKellen to be Gandalf could be tough. But HBO, I did see, and I would love this. There was a petition to get John Oliver in the game. Which, let's be honest,
that's really great.
I saw another one for Tony Soprano, but I just don't know. And no. I saw one for well, here's the issue. Here's the issue, though. I would have said Tony Soprano doesn't fit because you can't put Tony Soprano in here. Arya Stark is cold-blooded. She's a hero.
That's true.
But so I don't. That's what's so wild is that I know.
Very far-reaching.
I know in my heart of hearts that they wouldn't put Tony Soprano into this game. However, I don't know with the core of my being that they would not put Tony Soprano in here because they can kind of do whatever they want. I do think that the Harry Potter stuff is inevitable. This is Warner Brothers. This is their property. I think that's inevitable. People can choose to play them as they want. But
just ignore them.
But like Gimli, Gimli and like if you think about like
name a more iconic duo than Gimli and Legolas. I'll wait.
Exactly. Well, especially, and this is my theory, as they release this game and as they get more DLC, etc., I think that they would be revealing the characters in pairs.
Oh, for sure. I would imagine
because this is designed as a tag team fighting game.
But like, check it out. We could sit here and speculate literally all night.
I know, that's what's so fun and wild about this. So, the next time we're going to see real footage of this game, and the next time you and I will be able to talk about it in great detail, will be
when we have it.
No.
Not when we have it?
No, we have more data because there is going to be a Multiverses tournament at EVO this year.
Oh, dip. Okay, well, I'll have to watch that.
With a $100,000 prize pool. Now, that may not seem like a lot of money, but it is a lot of money.
That's an enormous amount of money. I mean, for Universe, is that not a lot of money?
Well, I mean, for like esports prizes, $100,000 is like, but for an unreleased video game, that's a big chunk of their marketing budget. And it also means
really big for them,
especially in a year when Smash will not be represented at EVO in any form.
I still don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Oh, it's a stupid
decision.
It's
so silly.
For Multiverses to come in and be like, hey, Smash, you don't want to be there, check us out. We're going to be here. And not only are we going to do it, but we're going to support it with its own separate tournament prize, and we're going to fund it. That sounds awesome to me. So we're going to find out at EVO,
I'll watch that.
Which is very soon, relatively. And I would presume this is a fighting game, so we know that we're going to get drop announcements of characters, universes. We predicted a bunch of stuff. There is a absolute chance that we missed everything. Oh, by the way, Warner Brothers owns Hanna-Barbera too. So that means they own, which also means they own the GoBots. I just want to point out.
Whoa.
Because GoBots is a Hanna-Barbera property.
It is.
Like everything is wild. They own everything.
Everything.
Everything. So, also, speaking of everything, that does mean they own Boondocks also. I'm just going to say this. If
I love the Boondocks. Like, don't get me wrong. That's really good social commentary. And
can they put... They can't put a pimp named Slickback in there, can they? Because Cat Williams would work for free, but they could definitely get Granddad in there. I would make
yeah, for sure.
I would make Granddad because I love that man.
He's great.
So anyway, yeah, this is wild. Speaking of licenses, and I figured this was a great way. Oh, they do own the Matrix also. Oh yeah, Neo is a guarantee. Neo and
Trent.
Neo and Morpheus and Trinity. Oh my God! Like this is what's so wild about this.
The possibilities are endless. They're endless.
This is Amanda being both hype woman and producer at the same time. It's just like Steve.
It's true.
Do this until tomorrow.
We could literally do this until tomorrow morning.
We could, and it would be fun. But we both have other stuff to do. So here's what we're gonna say. I wanted to close off our licensing episode by talking about the ultimate licensing game right now, which is Multiverses. So everybody, we did it. We made it through a whole episode. I have no further licensed games to talk about. Although, who knows, they'll probably announce more tomorrow. I will say this. Next week is a stream. The week after that is going to be our... we're going to talk a lot about because this is what's wild. We have a week off. Then we come back for another video game, board game podcast, which is going to be recorded on the Tuesday before Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Game Showcase, etc. Then we're going to take a week off, maybe. Depends on how crazy it is. I might have to do a solo show. We'll figure something out. And then when we come back after that, we're going to recap all of the family gaming news from what has turned into a crazy week of stuff, and we don't even know when Nintendo is planting their flag yet. And they could announce a new thing at any time because they don't care. So stay tuned because we've got all sorts of big news. And I will be streaming as many of those shows as I can right here. So if you want to watch me with them, hang out with me because I'm going to be right here. So, Amanda, we did it.
We did.
One more episode of the books. Everybody, I want you guys to have a wonderful night. I will be back next week on Monday for another World of Warcraft Monday. We're doing Mythic Keys, and we're getting a little crazy because I have figured out that I like tanking. Who knew? It's very weird. I like it a lot.
But I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know. So you mean to tell me that you don't think that I'm the kind of person that would be kind of a control freak?
No. That's a trap. That's a trap.
That's a trap. It's like you're doing the that's bait meme. You're like literally doing the that's bait gif right there. It's like that's bait right there.
Bait.
I started liking tanking, so we're gonna do adventures in me tanking with all my friends. Yeah, insert Admiral Akbar.gif. It's a trap. I'll be back next Monday, and then on Tuesday I will be, unless something else comes out or I'm given a code or something crazy, I will be playing more Iodine Chronicles Rising. So
amazing.
Everybody, I want you to have a wonderful night. We'll be back soon, and until next time, don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.